board is doing his own thing this morning there, but we'll work through this here. Let me get this shared out the way I need to get it shared out to. Make sure we are live and yes, we are. All right, good. It's shared out the way I need to get it shared out to. Edit privacy. All right, guys, welcomed to I gotta stop saying that because I'm changing the name to Andrews the podcast. It's sort of I'm in the process of changing it from welcome to Andrews to just Andrews the podcast. It's sort of like that pimp named Slickback. You got to say the whole thing, like a Tribe Called Quest. But good morning, guys. This is a Saturday morning broadcast. As you see, it's called Saturday Morning Sit Down with the mayor and Butch Kennedy, who is the founder of Palmetto Hope Network, and we'll get into that whole thing here in a little bit. But first off, tomorrow we're expecting some extreme cold weather. So you see on the screen, preventing frozen pipes. I don't know if anybody's dealing with that now, probably, but you want to take your preventative measures to eliminate that problem. Here are some tips on the screen, things that you can do. I think tomorrow morning is supposed to get down in the teens. So, do what you need to do, wrap your pipes, make sure you keep that water, allow that faucet to drip overnight. Disconnect all outside hoses. What else do we have here? Using heating tape can prevent pipes. I don't know what heating tape is, but it's on there, so we'll go with it. But yeah, guys, just know. And if you know of somebody, and if you're able to provide some shelter for somebody, because one of the growing issues in our area is homelessness, and so this is dangerous weather that we're experiencing right now. I don't know of at this moment, but if I do figure out or find out about a warming center or someplace where they're going to have an overnight shelter, I will pass that information on to you as soon as I get it. Well, on the screen, guys, you see there is Mayor McCleary and Mr. Butch Kennedy, who we have in with us this morning. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
All right. So, Mayor, let's start out with, first of all, congratulations to the town of Andrews for a very well put on Martin Luther King Day festival. Do you care to give us some comments about that?
No, I appreciate that. It's a lot of hard work by a small team that brought some key people of the key community leaders together to, first of all, to recognize and celebrate the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. And so we were able to do that, and then, as you know, we were able to make some key announcements about some programs that are coming here that's going to benefit our youth, to include the YMCA, our new Girl Scout Troop 2913. And so it was a great day, and it's a powerful message that came from the Reverend Trevor Kropp, who's also the general manager for the Andrews First Citizen Bank. And so it was just a great day. We ended up spending almost all day out in Main Street. We also had the ribbon cutting for you remember the Faith Christian, not the
AC Fashion Boutique. You better get it right. I got the pictures up there.
AC Fashion Boutique, in essence, Antoinette Commander, who's the owner and CEO of that fine establishment. So there's a place where young ladies can go, and us now. So we made a call for men's, clothing items to be in that store too. So she's doing that. Great place. So, and I don't remember the address, but it's the old flea market now. There's a beautiful facility, and I call it the campus because it's so big. But inside of that place, there's obviously the sanctuary, now the boutique, and then there's also a place that you can hold events. So I encourage them to contact the commanders, but certainly go by and patronize the boutique there. Very fine place. Anything on that, Butch?
Exactly. He also does trainings out there, right? He teaches welding, right?
Yes, the commander does have the only welding school within the area that gives young men and women the opportunity to learn a trade, again, which is welding. And this is something he's been doing for a long time. And so a lot is going on in that block, and that's right beside the Georgetown Craft Credit Union. So yeah, big events. Very excited about what's going to happen here in the near future with respect to our young kids.
Absolutely. And also on the panel right here, we got a panel. Also, we got Mr. Butch Kennedy, and as you can see on the screen here is his website. Mr. Butch, go ahead and introduce yourself to the Andrews the podcast audience, and tell us a little bit about, what it is, what your organization, Palmetto Hope Network, is about, and the type of things that you're an advocate for.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, my name is Butch Kennedy. Thank you for the invitation. It's good to sit here with you and the mayor. Palmetto Hope Network is an organization that I founded back in 2015. I was part of Project Unity before that, but Palmetto Hope Network is an organization that works in the community to reduce crime, violent crime, and we work with law enforcement, clergy, and the community stakeholders to reduce crime in high crime areas. We've been doing this for a while. We do events sort of like the Hope Walk. We walk across the bridge, talk about domestic violence, and we deal with gun violence. We had a couple of forums last year on gun violence, and we're kind of proud of some of the outcomes from them forums. We actually were able to get some legislation written out of those forums. The bond referendum bill was one of the ones that came out of our forum as well, and we have an advertisement that's a PSA that's on the radio stations now that it's called our Lock It Up campaign. We're asking people to lock their vehicles up, especially if you have your gun stored in it, right? So we've been extremely busy in the community. I also have what I call my Boys to Men, and this is something that's near and dear to my heart. This is probably the most important thing that I do. That's giving back to our young men, right? Because nobody really does that. No, I mean, I've seen girls being empowered right and left, and everybody's always asking what we're going to do to the boys, what we're going to do with the boys. Well, this is the answer to what we're going to do with the boys. We're going to bring young men in that they can value and respect, and let them know how important and valued they need to be as well. So we have a Boys to Men conference. We're working on planning the 2024 Boys to Men conference now. We held 2023 in Charleston at the West Ashley High School. We had a few hundred boys come out and show out, and it was a great time had by all. So we're hoping that this year Andrews can come out and support. I mean, we're excited. We're looking at doing it in Charleston one more again, right? But we're also going to come to Andrews as well. So if you can't come to this one here, we're going to do something here in Andrews as well, something small, of a smaller scale. But the big one will probably be in Charleston, and it'll probably be sometime in the July timeframe.
That's awesome, man. I'm sitting here, and guys, y'all make sure y'all go check out the website, because it's got a lot of information on there. And do not overlook that donate button that's sitting right there. And like I said, I'm just looking through, Tri-County gun violence. What inspired you to get into this type of thing?
Well, it's funny because I'm from Columbia, right? I'm not from Andrews. I'm from Columbia, and Columbia's my home. And there was a time when my mom was having issues in Columbia, a lot of violence. A lot of people didn't realize, but the 29203 area code was the most dangerous area code in the state, and that's where I'm from, right? So my mom was there along with my sister, and they were hearing gunshots a lot. And a friend of mine started an organization called Project Unity. And I went down there and worked with them on Project Unity, and we put some cameras in, and in 1 weekend they arrested over 75 people that were basically, just tearing up our community. So, and after that day, crimes continued to go down, and it had a downward trend in that area. And there was a time when I can go to that area and kids wouldn't be out playing. So I was amazed to see when I drove through that area, all the kids that were outside playing. The problem with crime is that crime holds the whole community hostage, right? And a lot of people don't interact outside of that community because they're afraid to come outside of their own community. So we were able to, and I say we were blessed and able to allow and afford these people the opportunity to actually live again. And I thought that was a positive thing. So I brought it here to Charleston. And at the time, North Charleston was the 7th most dangerous city in the United States. And I was like, 7th in the United. I couldn't believe it, because at that time I thought that Columbia was the worst, but North Charleston was the 7th in the United States, the most dangerous city. So I brought Project Unity to North Charleston, and we worked with the law enforcement and the clergy in North Charleston. We were able to, at one time, North Charleston was out of the top 100 in the nation, and now they're back in the top 10 as well once again. But I haven't been dealing with that for a while in North Charleston. I just been more focused with other issues as well. So we're gonna go back to North Charleston as well, and work with them on their gun violence.
Well, I'll tell you what, you are definitely welcome, because we're starting to experience not on the scale of a Columbia or a North Charleston, thankfully, but I mean, I guess comparatively, you can kind of say, because we're a small town, so.
But gun violence is everywhere. I mean, and Andrews is not going to be immune to it, right? The thing is for us now to get ahead of it, right? As a community, for the community to come together and galvanize and work together to get ahead of this gun violence and figure out what we need to do to curb it, right? And usually when we have gun violence in community, it's just a few, right, that are in a position to actually hold the whole community hostage with gun violence.
And Mayor, what is it? Just like what you said, it's a few that holds the community hostage. So what are some of the what? Not, I mean, I know you can't just answer, well, this is what can be done and we're done with it. So, but what are some of the what are some of the solutions that you see?
So what we have done, and that's a great question, because a lot of people ask that same question. And I sat down here, and me and the mayor have been talking for about a good hour as well. And the beginning, right, is what we're doing right now. The beginning is us coming together, having this conversation, and coming up with a plan. Because the plan for Columbia is not going to be the same as the plan for Andrews. The plan from Charleston is not going to be the same as the plan from Andrews. But the mayor and I and you are going to work out a plan specifically for Andrews to address gun violence within the community. Some things that I did in different areas, the mayor and the city has already done. So that's what I'm excited about. I mean, as far as bringing trades to an area, I heard that's getting done, and I'm excited about that, right? Revitalization of Andrews. I mean, nobody understands how important it is for people to live in a community that they love being into, and that it's nice and clean and stuff like that. And even if you just have like a one day out of the month or something where people come out of their homes, just clean their area, clean their space, man, it just makes everything better. And a lot of people don't realize the effect that has on crime in the community just by seeing you do that.
And so I see. So talk to us about, like, for the person that's sitting here watching this, right, and they're saying, "Man, I want to get involved." What does that look like for as far as with the community, with the town, and like, how could people get in contact with an organization like yours, or what would you suggest to be the first step that person takes to?
Right. So because everybody on different schedules and everybody has a life, right? Everybody can only give so much, right? So what we do is we have like a community forum where we bring the community in, and we accept volunteers on that day. We ask the community to come and be a part of this initiative, right? To work with us to make our community safer. So whatever that means to you, that means to you, because we can have a street outreach program, right? And we have those in different communities where we have a group of young men and women that walk out in communities, especially in the high crime areas, that just walk through the communities. And who's ever out there, we engage them in conversation. I mean, that's simple. That doesn't take any harm or any goodwill, but we need to be invested more in our youth, right? We need our youth to be able to understand that we care about them, that we value them. When I see you guys at sporting events, right? And that might not mean a lot to a lot of people, but Andrews is a small town, right? And these kids here need the support of Andrews. So when you have a football game or you have a basketball game or you have some sort of sporting event, Andrews should be supporting that sporting event. I mean, they should be packed. They should be standing room only. And the kids, if you see that and the kids see the community behind them, that changes the whole dynamic. That changes everything for that kid. And that's what it's all about. That's what we want to do here.
That's a lot of that. What you're saying has a lot of influenced me in that way, because growing up here, that's what we had. We had, basketball, football, but it made me feel like, I had a role in the community. If it was, and winning the games was the role, but I had a role in the community.
And when you walk down the street, right, and people watch you play, you walk down the street and they see you, they want to engage with you, right? Because I played football too as well. And when I'd walk down the street, people would see me and they would speak to me that didn't know me, right? And that means a lot to a kid. That fosters the development in our kids that our kids are missing today.
Mayor, I want you in on this right here. So what do we do to get these fathers in operating in the role that they should operate in their kids' lives? And then a lot of times these are fathers that are outside of the house.
Well, for me, well, first of all, I want to recognize Mr. Butch Kennedy again for seeing the need and now coming to the bringing his program to Andrews to address those needs. It is absolutely critical that we now begin to focus on the needs of our youth and adults getting involved. And that's when I say adults, that means from parents, churches, our educators, everyone understanding they have a role in these kids' development. That's it. And so again, I appreciate you. And again, welcome to Andrews. I know.
Home for 12 years.
I know. Now you're here physically, so
yeah.
You and your family, Lisa and the team across the track.
Amazing.
But
Amazing. Yeah.
it's awesome. Yeah. And it's the timing of it, as you and I spoke off camera. The timing of what Butch is bringing to Andrews is again, I think it's a divine intervention. We have seen, you and I, through the works we've done up to this point, the need, but we didn't have all the answers. And that's where the community comes into play. Okay? So the government is not going to have the answers all the time. And then two guys, you and I working, we're not going to have it. So when you have the expertise, like what Butch brings to this problem set, or these challenges, it is awesome. So couple that with the YMCA that's coming to Andrews, the Girl Scout that is here now, the Andrews Troop 2913, all of that, think about it. All of that now is focused on that target audience, which is our kids 11 to 17, but even before. So the Girl Scouts have them, they've hit the ground running. So shout out to Ms. Vermel and Ms. Luann and Ms. Young McCrae for coming together to pull these young ladies in. They're selling, I've already bought 3 boxes of cookies.
Hey, listen, they put a number on like 2,000 boxes. They move some cookies like.
Man, I'm trying to lose weight and I'm buying Girl Scout cookies left and right. But it's all good because now these kids are inspired. So they've captured their attention. They all want to sell, but as Ms. Vermel said to me, she said, they don't know yet there's more to this Girl Scout thing other than selling cookies. So they're very good at getting out there and get sales, but now it's learning those things that, being a part of the community, being a young lady that is focused on those things that are important. So we're very excited about that. And so what Butch brings is Boys to Men. So now we don't have to try to recreate this.
Right.
So what you're bringing in is a solid program that is proven over time.
That same inspiration that the girls get, we want the boys to have as well.
Exactly.
There you go.
And so to your point is where does the parents, and in this case, to your question, where does the fathers fit into this? And sometimes they may be, in many cases, they may be absent from that, but then that's where we
step in.
We step in.
Exactly. Because
as we discussed off camera, it is the who inspires. We're here to inspire the kids to do what's right, to be productive citizens. And in some areas that's a little bit more challenging than it meets the eye. But we can't, all lives are important in this case.
Right.
And so we got to address those kids, even those that have not probably had the influence that they need. That's where we come in. That's where the community comes in. And so we'll talk a little bit about that approach and who else, have to be a part of that, the churches and things of that nature. Which will talk to us a little bit about some ideas he have now to begin this even next Saturday.
Right.
So it's going to be a call. It's going to be a call to duty from everyone, in the community to be a part of this.
Yeah. One thing about me is that I don't believe I have all the answers, right, to every community, right? So I trust the community, right, to give me the answers. So I'm going to reach out to the community. So we're going to have community-based events where we bring the community in and we have their input as well. We're bringing the pastors in. I need their leadership to move forward in this process, right? Because all the spokes of a wheel, they have to be working in together in conjunction. So, because if one spoke is broken, man, that tire don't go, that wheel doesn't move as well as it should move. So it's important to me that all of these groups come together, that they're invited to the table to have a conversation, and I mean all pastors. I don't care. All pastors in Andrews should be invited to this meeting, and then after that, then we go to the schools. We have to go to schools, and then the community. We come to men out in the community, have conversations with the men in the community and the community in general to find out what is needed in Andrews to make it a safer place. I mean, everything from we got to have a holistic approach to what's going on in Andrews, not just fighting just the gun violence, right? Because there's other issues that we have, and if we have to take them all one by one at a time, then that's what we'll do. But the ultimate goal is to build Andrews up right into a place that we're all proud to live in. This is where I plan on retiring at. And I'm retiring because this young man here is the mayor. I said, I can stay here now because this young man here is the mayor. And I see what he has done thus far, right? I see how he built the city up thus far. He's not done yet. He's still young. He still got some years left in him, some gas left in the tank. So we want to go ahead and use up all the gas that he's going to allow us to use up so we can build the city back up and make it city where everybody can walk down the streets at night, man, and know and love on one another and be, even, it doesn't matter who you are, right? And I don't know a lot of men in this community, but I know a lot of men seem like they're really open and receptive, right? So, and especially when it comes to men of color, when we get together, we always dapping each other up. So where do we go from there to shooting each other up? You understand what I'm saying? That's what the gap that we have to figure out. That's the void that we have to fill. We want to bring people in here that's going to help us fill that void up and help us work on bridging that gap, right? That's the important part, bridging the gap. And that's what we're going to work on.
And early in the early conversation, and I think we all picked up on this from the Martin Luther King program, where Reverend Kropp talked about, his message was about being intentional, right? Can you talk again? And you were saying that's what boys to men is being intentional.
Exactly. He must have heard he must have heard all my interviews that I had, because when I was listening to him, I was like, that's it, exactly. He hit the nail on the head. Everything I do from here on out is intentional, right? I came to the mayor today with a plan because it's all intentional, right? And we can work on that together, right? So it's all intentional for all of us, but it all benefits the community. We want to do what we do intentionally and do it from the heart, right? Because to me, it's not about no money. I've never come to anybody asking them for any money for anything that we do, right? But what's important is that at the end of the day, that we have some of these kids that come out of school, that come out of the high school of Andrews and decide that they want to go to college and be better. And then when they come back from college, they come back to Andrews, right, and make it a better city. Not go someplace else and make it a better city, but come back here and make it a better city as well.
Absolutely. All right, guys. I got sitting in with me is the mayor and Mr. Butch Kennedy. And you see the website on the screen right there, Palmetto Hope Network. Please go and check that out. Along with the whole being intentional thing, what are some of the solutions? All right, let's talk about this Andrews Community Action Plan that we got. Let's kind of just go through it, and I want you to kind of talk to us about just kind of give us your thinking, and so we can help people. So when they come to the table, they already got an idea of what's going on. You start out, the first page is community violence intervention and prevention, and you mentioned street outreach in just a few minutes ago. So go down through that line. You got street outreach, you got group violence intervention, neighborhood change agent, job training and employment. You mentioned that, mentoring, and after school programs. Can you just give us
mentoring is important, right? Especially for young men that we talk about that don't have another male role model in the family, right?
And shout out to real mentorship, young man.
I've talked to them gentlemen too as well, and they're planning on coming to the area as well to work with this process.
Absolutely. I was talking to Mr. Randall, and we were in there, and he had 5 kids in here, and he brought up something, and I'm kind of going not somewhere else with it, but I want you guys to comment on this. And there was a moment there when we were taking a picture, and he was, getting the guys to pose the way he wanted them to pose, and he brought up the fact that one of the things that he has that he's learned in his mentorship is that a lot of these young men take correction from a man as discipline, as you know what I mean, and how do we I don't know if there's a question there, but
and that's a good point, right? Because we have young boys as well. What I have done, because I'm a little up in age, right, is I mentor to younger men, right, and I have them mentor to the younger boys, right. So when the younger boys, what they're looking for us from is not only leadership and guidance, but permission. If that makes sense, right? So for young men, we have a certain belief situation, right? Because we're growing up, we're taught certain things that we can do and certain things that we can't do that are manly and that are unmanly, right? And young men are looking for permission, right, to go out of those guidelines sometimes. Sometimes something hurts. We suffer from a lot of pain and trauma and mental illness that we never address, right, within our community. And those are key things that need to be addressed in our community. Male mental health, Black male mental health, we never talk about that. That's something that we need to address, right? And it's because there's so much trauma in our families that we never address. We don't know what our outlet is to release that trauma, right? And that's what I teach my boys, the outlet to release the trauma. And sometimes it's okay. Sometimes you get mad. Sometimes you want to cry. It's okay. We're going to be here for you. And a lot of them don't have a father figure in their life to tell them that it's okay. So they have the street life. And in the street life, you got to be hard. And it's not okay there in the street life because your homies can't see you be like that, right? That's not cool for you to be like that around your homies. So they hold on to that street life, right? And they hold on to that. And they have that anger and that pain. And that's what you see. That's how you see them acting out. A lot of what they act out is the pain and anger from what they're missing, right? And that's what male mentorship gives them. It's what they're missing. And it's really important, especially to young Black men, to have other young Black men say that it's okay to be who you are, and to tell them, the road that they took to get to the position that they're in now is vital, right? Because not all of us had a road paved with goals, right? We all had some different things that good and bad that happened in our lives that we had to overcome to get to where we're at today. And when you share those type of stories with these young kids, it's valuable to them. I've had them come back to me and tell me, later, I learned at your conference that it's okay for me to do this. It's okay for me to do that. And I never did that before. So that's why we bring the conference, and that's why we do it every year, because it's important for us to empower our young men to know that it's okay to be whoever it is that God intends them to be. Does that make sense?
What in over the years in your training, what techniques do you use in situations like that, to where you have somebody that's taking your direction as, in an offensive way,
Oh, wow. Well, where I came from, my previous careers in the military, it is a structured organization. So we have a training and an adjustment and methodology, if you will, that addresses those challenges that each and every one of these kids come into the military. And so what I've learned through that process, first of all, you have to understand them, because everyone has their own identity in terms of what's affecting them. So it's not going to be a one solution that addresses everybody's problem. So getting to know, in other words, getting to know this individual that we're trying to affect change and his environment, his or her environment. And then, and not necessarily trying to impose your beliefs necessarily, but understanding them. How do we get to a place where they understand that they expected to be an upstanding citizen, and here is the path to that? So it's a lot of work and understanding and of the person and everything about them. I reflect back on when we enter into other countries to impose our will on them, but it doesn't work because what they've become comfortable with is not what we're bringing. So we got to understand what their needs are. I remember, going into Iraq, and we're looking for this bad guy, and the people were unwilling to give information because for two things. Now they're conditioned to operate as this guy had them operating, and then the other thing is that they have become comfortable with what they had. So when we came in and disturbed that, not understanding those second and third order effects, it wasn't welcome. So understand what it is that the people need, and then start to address it from there. And see, and so it's talking about these type of resources. And again, what we've applied or what I have available may not be what they need. And so when you bring in outside experience and again programs that have worked, then that's when we begin to reach more and more people. And so it's not an overnight solution. And you got to understand the people and then meet them where they are to bring them forward.
Yeah, and I love what the mayor just said about going into the country, right? And nobody wanted to help them. That's the same thing that law enforcement goes through in our country today, right? It's the same exact analogy, man. I almost fell out my seat when you said that. But that's what our law enforcement goes through today. And they have to view it from that vision, right? So that's why we work so hard to bridge the gap between law enforcement and the community. That's why it's really, really important that we bring law enforcement and the community together, right? And they see that law enforcement is just like they are, the human beings just like they are, right? But they have to get there. They have to be able to, there has to be a bond, a trust bond that has to be formed. And that's what we work to bring to each and every county that we go to, is that bond. Because, in our summer programs, we have summer programs that we do. We work with law enforcement, hand in hand with law enforcement through our summer camp, Camp Hope. And we're there with the inner city kids, and we're teaching them about domestic violence, human trafficking, healthy relationships and stuff like that there. But law enforcement is there, right, to corroborate some of the things that we're saying. And these kids are now, at young ages now, they're seeing law enforcement as somebody that is approachable, right? Somebody that they can talk to. And when they graduate, it's crazy that when they graduate, not only are they calling us to their graduations, right, to be a part of their graduations, but they're calling law enforcement there too as well. The people who they would never have any communication with at all. And that's how they grew into that position in that phase where they don't fear law enforcement.
And that's vital, because if we don't be intentional and get in the community and do these things, the hip hop community is teaching anti-culture, is teaching. There's nothing. I mean, I know that's a big statement, but there's not a lot of things that a child can take from what they learn from the average rap song now and apply it to where it's going to fit into the normal society. And so
right. That's why we use that message. You kind of said that message around when we have our events. We bring in rappers, but they're hip hop rappers. It's a little different. I mean, it's phenomenal. The kids love them. I mean, they absolutely love these guys. I've had kids go up there and they're like rock stars there, right? So it's a different mentality. The beat's still the same. The lyrics are different, right? And the kids listen and they grasp onto the lyrics. They're selling out CDs right and left. I call them CDs. They're EPs now. They don't do CDs anymore, but they're selling their music out right and left, to say the least. And it's a message. It's a positive message that our kids need to get nowadays.
Because I mean, hip hop has been from I come out of the KRS-One era, and it was about where you listen to this tape, you going to pick up a dictionary and to try to, and so they're the devil has definitely caught a hold to hip hop music and the mainstream, with all the bells and whistles, with the chains and all the stuff like this.
I mean, that's the life that they live, though, right? They're preaching about what they see every day, what they live every day. And when you live in a certain area and atmosphere, you become part of that area and atmosphere, right? And that's what happens in any city that you live in. You're part of that environment, part of that race, part of that culture. And that's what we work to do, is change that culture, change that. I mean, they wouldn't be rapping about police brutality if it wasn't being done, right? And they're just expressing what it is that's happening to them. So I kind of respect that in a certain way, in a certain form. But if you live that and you continue to live that, you're never going to get out of that, right? Some way or another, you have to bridge that gap. Somehow or another, you have to figure out how you get past that and how you move forward. And a lot of people, the only way they get past it is they move away from it. And you'll see that happening in a lot of small cities. They'll move away from it and never go back to it.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct.
And I think to add to that is getting their attention away from that kind of music is now we got, just like what's happening here, you got to get involved, meet them again where they are. So is that's on the ball field, at the gym where they're playing, and being there and having it could be a very brief conversation with them. That now gets them to paying attention to what we're doing, leading by example. And they will be more willing to get into movement. You'll see them start to now come to these type of things that we know that's going to have an impact. But if we don't communicate with them the way they understand, we'll never get them to where we
get
need
them to the table.
We'll never get them to the table.
That's what the after school program is so important about.
Right.
After school programs are so important. A lot of teen violence happens between that time, 4 to 6, right? The after school program time. If you had an after school program here, right, where kids can come and computers are set up, somebody can help them with their homework, or they can play video games, or if they're playing basketball, somebody's out there watching them play basketball or something like that. There, something where they're just away from the environment, away from the street environment, that changes the complexion of a lot of things. And then there's someone there that's supporting them, because there's always adult supervision in these venues and facilities that helps kids out 100%.
Talk about how important it is for a mother and mother of a young man who, father's not involved in the life. How important is it for that mother to be intentional in getting these kids? Because, we can put up all the programs, we can have all the mentoring sessions, but if the parents don't intentionally get their kids in this direction,
Right. That's 100% important, right? And you have to reach the parents as well. So we try to have, every time we have a conference, we try to have something specifically for the parents, right? There's parental classes that we have during our conference as well. But it's really important for the parents to trust you. They got to know who you are, and they got to trust you. And a lot of the parents, they reach out to me prior to the event, and they get to know me prior to the event. And they feel comfortable bringing their children in. Some parents just want to drop them off and go do their thing. And I'm fine with that. Drop them off, give me 8 hours with your kids once a year, and I'm going to definitely try to pour into them something that they've never had poured into them before, right? That's important to me because I didn't get it as a kid. I want to make sure that, and I tell people this all the time, I want to make sure the kids don't have to wait till they're 50 or 60 years old to figure it out, right? My uncle used to always tell me as a kid, you'll get it one day, young boy, you'll get it one day. You mess it up right now, you get it one day. I said, well, why don't you just tell me? So I don't have to get it one day. I'll know it now, just tell me. And that's what I do for the kids now. I just tell them so they don't have to wait till they get to be my age to figure it out.
Now, what I'll say to, again, to that is I hesitate to judge, because we do have a lot of families, single family homes that are led by mothers. But I hesitate to say that they're not doing, I think they're doing a wonderful job. But what I would say to them is that it's absolutely necessary to have a positive male role model, whether it's the father or whomever it is, that is interacting with your son. So whether that's through the Y or through the Boys and Men program, I would say to them, don't be opposed to that. They're doing a wonderful job in many cases, in most cases. But if there's something to be said about a man being involved with young boys, young men, because it's not certain things you can't teach him. The responsibility of a man and being the head of the house or being a leader and those things that is not going to come across just from a young lady's perspective. So it's important, whoever that is, whether it's the pastor, whomever it is, it's important to have them there. And so I think that's where we probably get off the path when we're talking about a community that should be involved in kids' life. And so then don't seal us out. It's important that we be there, and many of us are available.
Right.
But because of how things have changed, sometimes we don't feel welcome to come and offer our assistance.
You got to be invited.
You got to be invited in.
Yeah, we got to be invited in.
You got to be invited in, and there's enough of the good guys, for lack of a better term, that is willing to step in and say, okay, I'll take them for a day. I'll take them for 8 hours. I'll get them involved in this. Or if I'm going to a ball game, let them roll with me.
And that's what we did. We actually took them to a USC football game We took them to a South Carolina State football game. We took them bowling, did certain things with them, right? Get them out of the house, get them engaged with each other, right? Because we just meet via Zoom on the weekdays, on Mondays. So we want to get them outside, right? And get them into an environment where they're comfortable with each other as well. And the reason why we do the Boys to Men, right, is because we have different mentorship groups from all over the area, and they bring their kids together. And I want all these kids to know each other, right? So they don't have beef with each other when they go outside of the area, right? I know this guy. I seen him at Boys to Men. He's okay. We don't need to mess with him. He's okay. Let's just talk to him. And you know what I mean? Let's move on. A lot of beef that we have is with people we don't know.
Yeah.
And his beef becomes my beef. And he don't like this dude. I don't like the dude either. And I see that dude now. He don't like him. I'm going after him. But that changes that whole narrative. And the thing is that what he said is extremely important, right? You, the parent, and I've had many a mother come up to me and said, I need help with my son. And that, to me, that just means a lot. When a mother tells you, that means a lot. When a mother tells me that she needs help with her son. So we definitely don't turn any of them away. So you got to be invited.
And
No doubt.
Case in point, recently, I think it was like last week, I was having a conversation, and I'll keep names and people out of it. But the bottom line is that there was a young man that came in for service at a place, and while he was getting the service, there was a noise heard, and so everyone looked down. It wasn't a cell phone. It was a 45 that fell out of this young 14 or 15-year-old's pocket in a business. And so the owner of the place said, hey, what are you doing? And it's kind of like it was, I'm gonna call your mom. He said, well, that's fine. The call was made to the mother and said, hey, this guy, she's like, well, I know he has it. It's for his protection. That should not be. And that's where I think we, again, being a community, this village that raises kids, he can feel, if we're involved, if he know that there's enough people, men around that care about him, he wouldn't have to carry a weapon out into the community and a parent feel that that's what he needs, as opposed to developing into a young man that is focused and in the right place, doing the right things, and not in a place where he needs a weapon on him that he absolutely knows nothing about, the dangers of a weapon. And if that weapon would have gone off, it could have killed, it would have hurt some innocent people. So that's what we mean about we being involved. It's a holistic approach. It's parents, we all are parents, so then I care about your kid too. So let me be a part of it. If I'm willing to do that, as a man, I'll talk to this young man and help him, get him in an environment where he feels safe, and tell him, okay, if you think there's a threat over there, then don't go there. Exactly. Don't feel that you have to walk around town with a loaded weapon.
And that's I mean, just like what you're saying, a lot of it is them being around and just seeing how men operate. It's not necessarily something you're showing them, but just them being there and watch how you deal with the lady at the counter, or how you handle just how you move.
Respect.
Yeah, and so
Respecting each other, respecting other people.
It's amazing that what the mother said, the answer to me, is amazing. She said, I know he has it and he needs it for his protection, right? That's the problem that we have in our community, right?
Yeah. And
that's the problem that we're addressing, is that he needs it and he needs it in his community. So without us in the picture, he's still going to have it. He's still going to need it for it in his community. We have to address that. And if we're not addressing that, then what are we doing, right? Why are we even here?
Absolutely.
So it's important for us to come together as a group, right? Not just Butch. I told the mayor this when it can't just be a me thing. And I know it can't be a you thing by yourself, because if it was, it would have been done a long time ago.
That's right.
And if it's me, it's been done a long time ago. It's got to be a team. It's got to be a team atmosphere. I got a team in Columbia. I got a team in Charleston, right? I need a team here in Andrews that's going to be willing to come out and do the same thing and be intentional, right, in this process, because it's a holistic process, right? We got to be intentional in what it is that we do.
Absolutely.
And you'll find some instances where there's both parents in there, and the parents, if it's not a healthy relationship, then the kid is still going to suffer. So, and then there's instances where the parents are doing everything, they doing everything right, but a lot of kids, and you see it, even mine, don't believe that the parents know what they know. Mm-hmm. So you can say something as a parent to your kid, they'll blow it off. I can, me outside can say the same thing and they'll think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. My son did that to me on the basketball court. I'm trying to show him, how to shoot and play. We're right there. This is when we were at the Pentagon. Skip. And I'm showing him, and he wasn't getting it. A buddy of mine came over and showed the same thing. He's like, and now he's doing it. So I'm standing back. So then my point is that it's a communication. How do we don't be so guarded that you want to allow someone to come in and help? Right.
Yeah, and that's
that's powerful. That is powerful. And the thing about it is that when they help, right, they don't want to feel like they're less than for asking for help.
Yeah.
Right. Because especially if you're a boy, you're not going to get a boy to ask you for any help. They will never ask you for help. So because we're conditioned that way, right? We're not going to ask for help and we're not going to show any signs of weakness. That's not going to happen. So we have to reach them where they're at, just like the mayor says, meet them where they're at and just be available for them, right? And provide the resources that they need. So this is an investment, right? What we're doing is an investment in these young men and in our community. We're going to invest in the girls too as well with the Girl Scouts. We have to invest in our youth, period.
And that takes me into the next part of your plan, community violence intervention, prevention, excuse me. And you got the types of anti-violence efforts. And just like you were saying, it's start short term, which is strategies that address gun violence happening right now, focusing on interruptions and intervention. Focus on interruption and intervention of violence. Talk to us some more about those three.
It's amazing because there's a team. There's actually a team that has gone to Chicago a couple of times, and they have a violence interrupter program, right? That they train and they teach people how to go out in the community as violence interrupters. That means they go in and they intervene in certain instances, right? If there's a shooting somewhere, usually retaliation is a big thing. So people want to retaliate. There's a group of men that come out and they talk to the families and they try to mediate that situation to where the retaliation doesn't happen. Violence interrupter is a very important role in our community because those are the same people that can be part of the community outreach that walk through the streets of certain high crime areas or certain areas that just need to see a presence visible, right? See a presence of men visible. And that'll change the atmosphere and the dynamic of how these people behave, right? I mean, you behave differently when you're under adult supervision. And we want to provide adult supervision to these young men.
And then we get into prevention, which...
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, what I see happening in Andrews is exactly what I wanted to see happen in a lot of other places with like, as far as having a school of trades and stuff like that in trades. That's part of prevention, right? Education, right? If you have an after-school program, you can do tutoring and mentoring in the after-school program. That's part of prevention. We want to make sure that these kids understand that there's a whole world out there, right? The whole world out there. We want to get them outside of Andrews. We want to take them places. It'd be nice if we can just get a bus from Andrews and take kids to the museum. We got a Black History Museum in Charleston that none of the kids probably will ever go to. So let's just get them on a bus, take them there. We got a museum in a zoo in Columbia. I don't know if anybody's taking anybody to the zoo in Columbia. There's places that we need to just load these kids up and allow them to see other things outside of this area, right?
Absolutely. And one of the things I want to do is take them to the State House, and I think you guys do that already.
Yeah, we do that all the time.
To watch your government in action. I mean, even bringing them to the town hall meeting too.
I mean, there's something to be said when we reach out to the representatives, right, and let them know we're bringing a group of young boys and girls there, and they recognize them on the floor, right, and we stand up and people get to see them, and at the end of everything, they get to meet some of the representatives, shake their hands, take pictures with them, whatever. That just is something that the kids can hold on to forever. I mean, it's crazy, man. When we had our last Boys and Men conference, Ro Khanna came from California. He came. He's a congressman from California. He came out, and the kids still are talking about, hey, we had a congressman from California come to the conference, and I got to take pictures with him and meet him. So, I mean, there's things that these kids, that we impart upon our kids and impart upon our young girls through the Dream Conference, the Dream Girls Conference, which is May 16th this year at Mount Moriah Baptist Church. I want everybody to know that the Dream Girls Conference is May 16th. If you got a daughter, teenage daughter, make sure that you register her for the Dream Girls Conference. I'll send you the information too. You can share it as well, because we'll definitely be there. We're always there. But
That's one of the programs we took advantage of. They offered up a grant scholarship for us to bring 25 young ladies. And the sad part was that we could not muster enough to meet that 25, and so we ended up sharing Mrs. Denise Chapman's organization. So we got and some of the chaperones that came out and helped us. So we bust out, you know. So it's a great. Oh man, it was exciting.
Yeah, we're gonna help sponsor some more this year. And the Boys to Men is the answer to the Dream Girls, right? Yeah. So that's why we do the Boys to Men, and we're gonna sponsor boys to come to Charleston as well to be a part of that, an all-day event. They get fed. Okay, not only food, but they get fed. They get fed as well. So we want to make sure that you know, we're able to pour into these young kids and possibly do something that's going to prevent them from doing other things later on in life, like committing crimes or whatever.
And again, guys, I'm sitting here with the mayor of Andrews and Mr. Butch Kennedy of Palmetto Hope Network. Again, let me flash that. Let me put that off of there. I'll be sharing out his website here pretty soon. So guys, reach out, you know, to him. To somebody watching and say, well, all they doing is talking about the little boys. No, that's not. But I mean, if you got eyes, you see that we have a situation in this country with our young boys. And so, like you said, there's a lot of programs, you know, like we got the Girl Scouts and different programs that, you know, focus on young girls. And that's great. I have a young girl. But we cannot leave these boys to the street. And again, that's why I'm so thankful. Talk to us again about what it means to have the YMCA come in here. And you said something about another program that they're looking to introduce.
Yeah. It's extremely important. Again, as you just stated, there's not enough attention on our young men, the right attention. Okay, it's all in the press. You look, I mean, rather the press is biased or not, the numbers doesn't lie. Who's involved in things that are not productive? Okay, so we recognize that, and now we're taking steps to do something about it, and we're realizing in those steps we don't have all of the resources. So then we are welcoming to again folks like Mr. Kennedy and his program, and in this case the YMCA. The YMCA. Is now located in this very facility here, 30 East Main Street, Andrews, South Carolina, where they will have a director here, a program that has been funded through the Parsons Foundation to bring that program here. So it's critically important to address that age group that we believe and factually that is involved in things that are not productive. So now we have that program. We have those programs that's going to reach across. So the thing is now, how do we get them here? How do we reach those parents and help them understand that it's important for them to be here? And again, what Butch is introducing to us today is a movement to get now to the parents and to the other leaders in the community, the pastors, to get them here. So if you build it, they should come.
Make sure.
We've built it. The government has done their part in getting it here. Now it's everybody else in the community, the other pieces to this pie to get the kids here. So that's why it's important here. And if we show, if we demonstrate, hopefully, this is me, if we demonstrate enough interest in what's going on and involvement, then it will grow. So right now we're looking at this, you know, this pilot program, and in my term, is about a 2-year program. We take advantage of it, then it could be things, because in 2 years, our kids are not going to be adults. Right. So we need it to be here, but we have to show that interest. If you use it, I think it will continue to grow. If we don't, we will lose it. As simple as that. And this falls into the overall Andrews visioning plan, because a part of this now, all of this bleeds into this Andrews Black River Education Center, career center that will be developed as a part of the overall Andrews vision. And now, so that brings in other organizations like Mr. Kennedy. That brings in the school district because Ms. Mahone from the Andrews High School, she was a part of that vision and plan. And she brought this to us, and that's why it was incorporated in that. So you see all these pieces coming. Now it's to bring it together and make it effective, seamless program for that, for our kids, giving them that trade, getting them back into agriculture, trades, those kind of things that is now important. Yeah. Grow your own. Yeah. And then those things again, and ultimately will keep some of our talent here in town, provide economic opportunities for our locals. So it all comes together. Right. And that's what this is. And so I'm very grateful for all the things that are happening. And just now managing it.
You do fine.
And
you do fine. You can't do it all.
No.
You can't do it all.
So part of this now that came out of all of this is that we have a strong need, not just a desire, for a public affairs, public relations position on the staff and a project manager to help us bring all these moving pieces together. It just can't be done from my desk. So I'm excited.
I am too, man. I remember this has been a conversation a long time. Man, we need a YMCA. We need and so now that these things have
I've been trying to have this conversation with you guys for a few weeks.
Well, yeah, you're right.
My schedule is kind of.
I know. I remember that.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys.
I was telling them. I said, "Hey, I just got another hit from Butch, man." I said, "We got to meet."
I'm glad you guys were able to fit me in, though, man.
It
means so much to me what you guys do in the community, and I don't tell you guys enough how I do watch, right? Because I'm all over the place, but I do watch, and I do watch how you guys engage this community. And it's imperative that we build upon that, right? That we increase that and we allow the community to come in and be part of that engaging team. And like I tell everybody, I can't do this by myself. The mayor can't do it by himself. None of us can do this by ourselves. We need the unity portion of the community to come out and be a part of this.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. And I mean, this is, we could normalize this, you know what I mean? Because we don't necessarily have to be in the same room, but this is good that we're all here, and it'll be a great platform for when we have these community conversations that, or we can extend it beyond the room, you know what I mean? Where folks could, in real time, give feedback on, just like right now, they're saying that the Girl Scouts sold 3,000 boxes of cookies.
But they didn't sell me any. I'm giving. I'm not gonna buy 1,000 boxes.
Well, listen, I got a Girl Scout who has some cookies, and we'll get you taken care of.
And I want to take this opportunity, man, because again, you and I are in front of the camera, and
right.
People, what they don't have an appreciation for is who's behind the camera and all the work that he does. He's not going to toot his horn. But it has to be, said and understood that Jamal sacrificed a lot. So you see him now; he's behind the camera. He's in his work gear. Now, if you reflect back during the last 3-4 months, you didn't see a lot of that. Right. He sacrificed a lot to make sure, because he took the time, like you have, to see what's happening, see what's important, and made the personal sacrifices to contribute to it for the good, not for me. But for the good, and I'm thankful that you all see that what I'm trying to do, and in some cases doing, is for the benefit of the community, for our kids and our seniors, like Mr. Booby Mays, who was just here.
I thought you were talking about me for a minute.
No, we're getting there, but we're not there yet. Man, it matters to me that our youth have an opportunity to get to where we are, and that our seniors have an opportunity to relax and enjoy the life and the things that they have done. And so that's important to me. And and again, I can't do it alone. So what you guys are doing, man, is important. I mean, look at him. He's probably going to go to work from here or coming from work, but he wasn't able to do that. He sacrificed. And they don't see that. You saw it, and I appreciate that. And then I want to let him know that I appreciate Andrews, the podcast, and Jamal Richardson, personal sacrifice to show that this is what it's going to take. And so I want people to know that, man. And that's just for me.
I appreciate that. And I'm going to say this because I always put my foot in my mouth. But I really would love to see all right, the election's over, and I hope, you know, folks can get over the hard feelings, because there are some good people who could really help move what everything we're doing forward. I was disappointed in some of the folks that I did not see at the. I was encouraged at the Martin MLK event because it was a great turnout, and it was a beautiful program. But I was concerned about some of the people who I did not see, some of the people who purport themselves to be leaders in this community, because we have assets like Mr. Butch and like yourself, and I'm gonna just say it straight up now: people need to get over themselves, right? And because one of the things I did not see at the and I don't think it's an oversight, but I think it needs to be, let's deal with the elephant in the room, because we didn't have an NAACP presence at the march or at the thing, and for whatever reason that should never happen, because
I will say this: I am a member of the NAACP. I was there. My wife is a member. She was there. Mr. Mays was there. He's a member, but the president wasn't there. We didn't have a table. Right? And
that's what I'm saying. Last year they had the table, and I mean that was a great opportunity missed for those young kids, because we had a lot of young people there this year, exactly. And that was a great opportunity missed. You feel what I'm saying? Because again, it's not so much what we do, but they're watching us. You know what I mean? And so.
There's a lot of bridges that need to be a lot of fences that need to be built,
and so
a lot of conversations that need to be had. The hard conversations, but they still need to be had, right? And then maybe you can find common ground, maybe you can't, but at least you had the conversation. Right?
Yeah, and for me, the common ground is the town of Andrews.
Yeah.
Because when I started, I was working with this online publication, and it got to my whole thing with the I don't get into what grown people do, but my focus is what can I do to help move this town forward? You know what I mean? And I'm willing to put aside whatever, because I don't care what my feelings are toward Mayor McClary. It was important for me to be there in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King. You know what I mean? And the kids. But like you said, a lot of these hard conversations got to be had.
And you're absolutely right. Both of them. And there have to be some offline conversations. Right. With this organization, with the churches, with the government. Has to happen, not necessarily in an open forum, right. But some things have to be discussed. And we wouldn't have had an absence in the NAACP. We wouldn't have an absence in more diversity. Okay, so if we're talking about elephants, there's a few elephants.
Absolutely. I mean, we had
town and other places that has to be addressed. Because if you don't figure out how to manage an elephant, it's going to destroy a lot of things. So we have too many elephants that haven't been addressed, and so. This is not the forum right now, but you're right.
Yeah, and the community forum that we have will open the doors for that.
Right.
Them quote unquote side conferences that
right.
you have to have. But just like my man here said, I mean, I'm here for the town of Andrews.
Right.
Right. I'm here because this might be where I retire. I'm here because I think that the mayor has done some great things as well. But sometimes people got to get over themselves, right? Sometimes people just got to get over themselves.
Me personally, I'm gonna have to address some things, but I'm gonna always be the leader of the town of all the people. But I would be dishonest to say that there's not conversation that I need to have with certain people to improve the relationship in the town, to ensure that we all are moving forward. Right. And I need to have those conversations with whatever organization or whatever individual. That needs to happen sooner than later, and I'm open for that, because otherwise we're going to have some key people in this community that's not a part of the movement, right? That are not a part of this evolution that we need, this revitalization, right. And it has to happen. There's a time and a place for everything, but it's absolutely necessary, because in all things we do, trust is probably number one. The kids are going to have to trust us to lead them. we're going to have to trust each other to be the leaders. And so, and if we don't have those conversations, then I think it's groups and individuals that are necessary will be left out. But we all got to be willing to focus on the one task.
Yeah, on the overall mission, and
Can't
that's
have individual agendas. Unfortunately, I believe that's part of this elephant, whether it's the trunk or the
well,
hind part.
that's been a reoccurring theme in this. We didn't get here, you know what I mean, by working together. You know what I mean? And so, and I think a lot of folks think working together means kumbaya, and it's not always, you know, like again, if we can come together and focus on the mission, you know what I mean? Again, check your egos at the door or whatever, and let's move forward, like Elder Cooper would say, in the right direction.
And that's why if we didn't, Butch and I have always worked well together, but we got to come to this platform to hear what because I can assume what he's doing. I see his work in Charleston, but if we didn't have this forum, we wouldn't understand all of what it is, and then where we play into making it move forward.
Yeah, because it goes nowhere without the community and without you guys, right? I mean, when we get to clergy, it doesn't go as far without them either. I mean, it's a holistic approach, and there's a lot of things that need to be touched within this approach, and we want to touch them all. Right?
Absolutely.
So, like you said, there's going to be some tough conversations to be had, but at the end of the day, we can do those tough conversations and move forward, and then I'm good.
And as we move towards this national election that's coming, we need to have our team tight, because it's going to get ugly. You know, it's already started getting ugly, and you know.
And I'm very aware of the impact of all of that on the town of Andrews, and I'm going to be involved to whatever level it is that is positive for the town, whether that's politically, civically, with what Butch is doing the YMCA. That's my job. So I'm gonna be there. In whatever move it is, it's gonna be in the best interest of this town.
Well, even in Charleston, whatever I had going on, whenever I picked up the phone to call this man, he was there. He even came to Charleston.
Oh yeah, he
So if he says, "Come on over here," I'm here. Yeah, I'm here, man. So I'm gonna be here. So I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Same for you, man. It's not easy, but he's done. And again, there's Hope Walk and all that stuff across the Ravenel Bridge. In order to do that, that affects a lot of things.
Yeah.
And to pull that off, that's huge. And so if he can do that there, I know he can have an effect here in town. So we welcome you.
That's what's up, man.
Total team effort.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna build a team here that's gonna make it happen. All we gotta do is just believe in the man upstairs, and it's gonna happen. That's what he wants. He wants to see us together.
And then those with resources, and again, I know he hadn't done that. We haven't done what we have been able to do here in town, the two of us, without resources. So people out there that are listening, pour into these organizations.
Absolutely. I mean,
you can't be there physically, provide resources, because it's not, everything has a dollar sign. We may not talk about it a lot, but it comes out of somebody's pocket.
Hey, and I wanna, because I'm looking forward to sitting down and having a conversation with the president of the new president of the Parsons Foundation, and because I think they need to be highlighted for.
Oh, yeah, the Parsons family. I mean, this is incredible. This wouldn't have been possible as fascinating. I mean, this literally went from program that the NAACP, the YMCA leveraged at the national level. It was a national recognition of a core of young men that are missing from their program. So the conversation was brought down to Georgetown County, which it was pushed out that this was going to happen, and they invited community leaders. And so I was there and volunteered and asked to be there the second day. So they heard us. And that was just a conversation of a program that they had. It wasn't funded yet. And then here comes, 3 days after that, the Parson family stepped up and said, we'll contribute to it. And out of that, things kept moving. And a wonderful CEO, Mr. David Bird, Mr. Zach, who is the executive director at the YMCA in Georgetown. Mr. Bird, who came back out of retirement, he is is committed to this. I hear from this man, a CEO, all the time. There's another program now he's talking about bringing to the town of Andrews. They see the need. So when people are reaching out to help and bring resources, we should not sit back and not take advantage of it. Because again, it's for the kids. So I'm grateful, man, and just to be here, to be a part of that and contribute back to a community that invested in me when I was a child. That's why I'm here. So, welcome, Andrews.
Love it, man. Love it, man. This is like, the most relaxed. I used to come here just to decompress, right? Because Charleston was so stressful and everything. And traffic in there is still stressful, but coming here to relax and the people here, man, they're great people, man. I just want to, do whatever I can do to make life easier here within the city. So.
Yeah, and for people that don't know, especially that I think the younger generation, Andrews' motto was, a friendly town. Yeah. So we got to get back to that. We shouldn't change that.
He said this is maybe our RFD.
RFD, man.
Maybe our RFD, man.
So be a part of the movement. Come on out, because as you said earlier, we were talking offline, is that it's moving in the right direction. Yeah. And there's going to be some that doesn't ever get on the train, but this train going to keep moving. This A train going to keep moving, and we're going to keep doing what's right for the right reasons. And so be a part of it, or then you just have to read about it.
That's what's up, man. So, hey, listen, guys, this is the first of we can crank out a schedule. We can do this on a regular. We need to do this on a regular basis. And Mr. Butch, I appreciate you for what you just wanting to make a difference and for what you've done, in areas. Because people might think, well, I don't live in Charleston, but you don't know. It might be one of them kids when you in Charleston that happens to say, hey, let's go. And it's because somebody that you touched, you know what I mean? And it's a lot of great things happening here for the town of Andrews. And we're going to continue to grow. I'm just excited, man. I just want to be able to get this excitement into some other people. Because, one of the things my partner Jay is always talking about is you don't want to die with knowledge. You know what I mean? So you can know it all, but if you're not, you're going to die with it, and so don't do that. I say that to anybody watching, figuring, well, man, what can I do? And it's not always, you don't always have to be, on the front line out here. You may have some administrative skills that can help out the organization. You may have some sales skills. It's just a lot of, everybody can't play quarterback. Everybody can't be a lineman. It's a team thing, and you just got to find it where you fit in the team. But again, I look forward to this. Any final words right now?
I'm just excited, man. I just got through talking to the pastor Cannon, and also to Pastor Commander about bringing the pastors together and having a detailed conversation about what their role is in ending the violence here in the area. And they're going to define that, right? But we're going to actually sit down and we're going to have this conversation next week. And if you want to, bring your cameras out. If you want to, I'm not sure whether they mind or not. I know I want the mayor to be there if he's available. But it's nice to be able to now define roles, right, and bring everybody together in unity. And that's the goal. That's the goal of this next meeting with them this coming Saturday. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited for everything that's going on in this beautiful city. And I'm excited to grow up and get old here.
You also mentioned something about earlier. I was looking forward to read it off, but tell us about the event that the NAACP has in February.
Okay, February 10th, the NAACP is holding its Black Excellence event. It's going to be at the Jerusalem Center at 6 o'clock. You can go on Eventbrite and get your tickets on Eventbrite. Just do a search for the Black Excellence event.
You could probably just pull up Andrews and it'll give you all the events.
Yeah, I don't know if Andrews has a thing that does that. I don't know if they have that in place, but if they do, then that would be nice. And that's something I'd like to see happen in Andrews, like some sort of sign somewhere that tells about all the events or something in Andrews. And we talked about that many years ago. And I think that's something that we'll probably try to work on too as well. But I know that if you go into Eventbrite and you do a search, Andrews Black Excellence Award, Yeah, because it's at the Jerusalem Center. Is that the Jerusalem Center?
Yeah, old Rosemary.
Yeah, it's going to be there. The mayor doesn't know it yet, but he's on the program. So I thought I'd let him know while I was here.
Appreciate it.
But I don't know. But yeah, he's on the program. And we're excited about it, man. It's time that we as a community, right, embrace what it is that we are as a community, especially for the NAACP. My grandfather was part of the NAACP, and I have to be a part of this for his legacy, right? So I'm excited to be a part of this, and I just want to invite the community to come on out, get your tickets. The tickets are $25 for those 75 and over, and $40 for those under 75. So you can get your tickets on Eventbrite, or there's some certain people that have tickets within the community, but they haven't gotten them yet, but they should be letting everybody know. But it's February the 10th.
No doubt.
And I'll just say this as a part of that. And I think we'll come back. Black History Month will continue where we started last year. The entire month we'll have every weekend through the week we'll have events that highlights Black history, and so that's coming out. And I'm glad you mentioned that because we want to avoid any conflict in events. We want everybody to be able to come out so we can synchronize our efforts. That'll be excellent. And last thing I'll say too, that's coming now. We talk about people reaching out from Charleston, coming to Andrews, bringing programs. A young soldier of mine, 29 years ago, was in my company. He reached out to me. Now he wants to bring speech therapy resources here to the town of Andrews. He's got a very and this is a global program that he has that they're coming here, and I'll get and it's coming to the school district. We've already talking to some of them and get those resources matched up, because I don't know where to begin to try to coordinate, but through this organization, and we'll talk more about it. But it all feeds, as you see, again, the divine intervention. All of these things feeds into the development and making our youth well-rounded. And so that's huge. This is a global program.
Yeah, man. This is again. I'm thankful. You know what I mean? Because I remember my speeches at town hall meeting were, when is this town going to take interest in the youth? And I was screaming that, and they was looking at me like I had a second head on my, on my shoulder. So I'm just I'm glad I'm here for it. You know what I mean? I'm definitely here for it. Yeah, but so Mayor, we still got to have a conversation about this is not the platform for it, but
we missed our Real Talk Tuesday for some other
well, I mean, you had some things going on. I had some things going on, and then AT&T. I'm not a customer of yours no more. T-Mobile, salute. But yeah. So and there's a lot of things going on in the county that we need to keep our eye. We need to make sure we continue to track. And that 1 cent penny sales tax, we were left off of that. The town of Andrews was left off of that steering committee, the committee that comes up with the projects. And our two fine county councilmen put on a performance that of a lifetime. and so we'll definitely dig into that, because I've got it broken down so we can go through it, because I really want
about that sooner than later.
Yeah.
Because this is a part of educating our community, not just Andrews, but Georgetown wide, on what that's all about. All is not lost, but there's some certain things that need to be put in place to ensure that Andrews' interest is sealed in the deed.
Yeah. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I got a couple engagements, but later tonight. I mean, if time permits, we need to get that out there, because again, that's as we move forward toward this national election, again, it's gonna blur a lot of lines, and because we were talking about this earlier, how important small town politics is as opposed to the national. You know what I mean? And you're gonna have people fighting family and doing all this other stuff, caught up in this national election. And if you ask them, hey, who's the councilman in your town? Who represents you? And a lot of them can't even answer that. You know what I mean? And so, that's one of the main purposes of Andrews, the podcast, is to put the focus on where it should be when it comes to politics in our area. Now, believe me, I love national politics. I'm actually excited about what's to come, because it's a war, and I love it like that. But I do know I know where politics affect me at immediately, and that's on the local level. Yeah.
And I would be honest, I have blinders on at the national level, because where I said I see we have to, for us, we have to have blinders on to make sure that we're focused on the things that impact us immediately. And that's at the county, municipality, and the state, but more so the municipality and the county that drives how we move day to day. And that's important. So that's what I got to stay on that platform, but then keeping my eyes on the national level, obviously, but certainly county and the town.
Yeah, because my girl Fanny Fonny done got her fanny in a tough right now. So, but anyway, we're gonna end it right there, guys. Man, that's a good, productive conversation. And real quick, Mr. Kennedy, where could folks reach you at?
Well, they can hit me off my Facebook page, Butch Kennedy on my Facebook page. All my information is there as well. But I'm here in Andrews now. I'm easy. Palmetto Hope Network. .org or Butch Kennedy 1060 at Gmail.
No doubt. All right, and again, before we get out of here, guys, remember the temperature is going to dip down really low tonight. So, keep your eye. If you know somebody that's out there living outside, you might want to, if they're, some people just not going to want to come in, or for whatever reason, if whatever you can do for them, you need to do it. If that's throwing an extra blanket out there for them, letting them come in to your garage. I mean, just whatever you can. I don't know, but it's going to get really, really cold tonight, and we don't want to lose one person out here to the elements tonight. And so, protect your pipes. Go around, make sure you keep that water running tonight. Keep your inside home, the temperature inside your home at a minimum of 55 degrees, and just protect yourself. And if is there a number for a wellness check like we did during the storm?
Yeah, that's we'll have a repost the information we posted a week or so ago when we had the bad weather that came in. So there's two numbers. It's always the standard off-duty number, which is on your bill, and has always been posted. So we'll just repost those things so they can reach out.
So guys, y'all make sure y'all go check out the Town of Andrews' Facebook page for information. And with that, we're gonna end this right